Hello, this is Angi Burns, the owner and publisher of the Burns Team City Lifestyle, and welcome to City Lifestyle with Angi Burns. We love to celebrate the best-in-class businesses, the organizations making a difference in our community, and the individuals who are making an impact on our residents here in our area. Hello, and welcome to today's edition of City Lifestyle with Angi Burns. We are here today with Bryna Talamantez from Talamantez Therapy, who is a partner in our Plano publication and the winner of Feature Editorial of the Year. So congratulations. So we're going to talk today about that editorial and what you spoke about. And we came to your space today so that we can learn a little bit more about you.
It's very bright and colorful.
It is bright and colorful and fun. And she has all the squishmallow thingies and all of the fun toys.
The weighted one.
Because Bryna is a therapist, play therapist. So tell us a little bit about you and your practice, and then we'll get into the article and all the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So I am Bryna Talamantez, and I work with kiddos 2 and up and teenagers and sometimes some adults, as long as they're okay walking into this.
I want to go to therapy where I can have all the fun
even
things.
The adults, this is the only named toy. His name is Fred.
Okay.
And even the adults, because he's weighted, just come in and either that or embarrassed is also weighted.
Oh, look at that, embarrassed. Okay.
They're just like perfectly little.
Yeah, I'm going to hold him.
But yeah, I specialize in grief and ADHD and anxiety and just helping kids and teenagers just navigate life, because life is a lot.
It's hard.
Sometimes.
It's so hard, y'all.
And so, they come into this space and we do a lot of playing, and sometimes adults are wondering, like, what are you getting out of them with play? And I say, listen, they don't have language yet. They're little. They're still working on their emotional language. But they do know how to do is play. And so toys are kids' words and play is their language. And so that's why I have every single toy you could ever imagine.
This is like Willy Wonka's playhouse or something here. Like, there's toys, there's games, there's books. There's so much in this office right now that I am just fascinated, and I want to play with all the things. And you have a lot of the fidget toys and a lot of the different things here. And that's what your article was about, is about ADHD is more than just fidgeting. That was the title of the article. And it really dove into the misconceptions of ADHD. So tell us a little bit about the process. Like, let's say we suspect our child has ADHD. What are the first steps a parent needs to take to get that diagnosis?
Sure.
And then when do they bring them to you?
Sure. So some parents like to do it a couple different ways, and it just depends on what is going on, what they're seeing. And I do want to start with, there are 3 types of ADHD. I think the one that we all most associate with ADHD is the hyperactive. And so those are the kids that have trouble sitting still. They can't sit in class. It's visibly hard for them to focus. They're blurting out, they're doing things like that. That's the ADHD that we often see. The type of ADHD that we have to dig a little deeper is inattentive type. And then there's also combined, so it's both. But our inattentive kids, they can sit and do some things, but they're struggling internally. They're still comparing themselves to their peers, going, why can they sit still and I can't? They're still fidgeting a bit, but it's not like big behaviors. It's I'm playing with my hands. I constantly have something.
Those are the kids that chew their nails.
The kids that chew their nails, and they put a lot of pressure on themselves because they don't see that there's anything wrong, but their brain is still struggling. And so these are the kids that will do their homework and then forget to turn it in.
That's my son.
And they will, they can sit in the meeting, but they're struggling during the meeting. So they've got all the things going on. So those are our kids that get missed. And for girls especially, they get the label of anxiety instead of inattentive ADHD. And so this is why there's 2 ways, because typically if a kid's coming in with behaviors, maybe some anxiety, we're having emotional outbursts, we're struggling with little things at school, they come to me first because they're like, oh, my kid has anxiety. And then after I'm listening to them and hearing them and seeing what they're playing with, I'm like, no, we have inattentive ADHD. And then I will send to go get an eval, because an eval is really helpful because then you can take that to your school and get a 504 plan and get accommodations, because accommodations are not a bad thing.
Right.
We don't want to over accommodate, but we do need to meet the kid where they are so that they can feel successful.
Right.
So our hyperactive ADHD kids, those are the kids that any adult can more label, oh, this kid has ADHD. So typically my hyperactive kids are coming to me already having a diagnosis because they've already gotten the eval. I think that pediatricians are a great resource for ADHD. They can be the ones that prescribe meds if that's something that you're wanting to do. But I think going to get a full evaluation is really helpful, because there's about 50% of kids with ADHD have something else going on too. And so it's 40% of kids who have dyslexia have ADHD. Yeah. And so then once you have, and I don't think that people realize that dyslexia and dysgraphia are neurodivergent disorders. Yeah.
And my son has all of them.
And once you have one,
welcome to my world.
It's more likely that you have more.
Right.
Including
but he's so
autism.
Smart. And that's one of the things that people disregard is they think that kids that have dyslexia, dysgraphia, or ADHD, or any of these neurodivergent tendencies or diagnosis aren't intelligent.
Right.
My son is extremely intelligent. Right. He has that engineering brain and all the things. Like the way his brain works is just very different than the way my brain works. And I have ADHD,
and we, need our different brains that think
Yes.
differently, because that's how we have new creations and we have new things. We have beautiful art.
Yeah.
And whenever
I make, they're creators.
Yes.
Yeah, they make things and they express themselves in different ways. But it's like you said, it's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just how your brain works and how you communicate is different.
I've even had conversations with kids that they don't realize why they're having to take medicine. And sometimes if no one explains it to them, they think that they are wrong. So communicating with our kiddos about how their brain works is really important. So I have had kids come in here and not realize why they're having to take medicine for their brain because nobody has explained it to them. And so they have internalized that their brain is wrong. And especially because when you're young, your meds are going to change as your brain is growing and developing. So if they're constantly having to change their meds, some can internalize that as, oh, I'm wrong. Yeah. I'm doing something wrong. And so I've had a couple conversations with kids of, hey, you turned 12, you turned 13, you're a teenager now, your brain is getting bigger and learning new things and absorbing new things. And we have to make sure your meds keep up with your brain.
Right.
And so this is not a bad thing. Your medicine is a tool to help your brain. And you're able to do all the things you want to do because of that. But as our brain is growing and developing, you're going to have to change your meds. Yeah. And as your body gets bigger, as your brain grows and does new things. And so once we explain that to them, they go, oh, okay. And they can move on.
And then we're open to it too.
Right. Yeah. And so if we can communicate with them, this is just how your brain works. And it's okay that it works differently than other brains. Because one thing, there have been studies that have shown kids who go unmedicated before they're 18, they do have, and I'm not a med pusher, but with ADHD, I like to have a more in-depth conversation, because if we can find the right medication for them before they turn 18, it lowers their risk of anxiety, depression, and addiction. Because our kids with ADHD are very smart. They're very aware, and they're comparing themselves to everybody. I had a conversation with somebody last week of, hey, well, we haven't seen like big things come up. They're able to focus at school. They're able to do these things. Is an eval worth it? And I said, yes, because then even if you choose not to do medicine right now, we can start educating what their brain, what's going on in their brain. And there are
other ways to cope or skills that you work with them on and that you teach them. Because I have, so 2 of my 3 children are ADHD. And my older daughter, who was diagnosed when she was in early elementary school, didn't want to do the meds because she was very tiny and the meds often suppress your appetite. Yeah. And she was not eating and she was not gaining weight and she just didn't feel healthy. And it made her feel very uneasy. And she was already so tiny that not eating is not an option.
Correct.
And so she chose to work with a therapist and figure out, how do I self-regulate and what skills do I need? And that's what you work with these kids on if they choose. Like now my son is on medication and his teachers they're like, he did not take it today. He did take it today. It's very obvious.
I can tell when my kids come in and I'm like, oh, okay,
it's worn
we're gonna have fun today.
But they're very different kids. And I don't think has the self-determination to self-regulate.
Sure.
To say, these are the skills that I need. Like, he doesn't have that built into him right now.
Sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah. And it's different with boys and girls and all the different things. So what are some of those type of coping skills that you work with for the kids that choose not to do the medicine?
Absolutely. So, and for any kid, honestly, medicated or unmedicated, we still need regulation skills. And
ADHD or no ADHD.
Right. Yeah. We all need it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I have more recently in the last year or so, my kids who are neurodivergent tell me that deep breaths don't work.
Yeah.
And I explain that to their adults. Because they need a sensory input situation going on. And so encouraging them we need to be on our scooters, we need to be on our bike, we need to go for a walk. So any big repetitive movement, jumping on a trampoline, if that's something you're cool with, and have all the safety things. But, any sort of big repetitive movement is my first go-to thing, because we can do that anywhere. We don't require any tools to use it. It's just we have our body. And I can tell there are some of my kids that regularly go play on the playground after school, and I can tell when they don't. I can tell when it's been too rainy or too hot, and they come in and they're just
a ball
and they're going to explode. And that's when we see the big behaviors, like they might start hitting, they might start kicking, because they don't have that emotional regulation.
Yeah.
By going out and doing these big repetitive movements. I know it's 115,000 degrees outside already, so that might be a little hard, but swimming, it's summer, swimming can be helpful. I do have my bin of fidgets too. I'll pull this up. But I have them go through here and see what helps them. Like, they love the poppets. I'm not going to pull this open. The pop tubes are great. Adults need to desensitize themselves to the sound of this, because it's terrible. I sat here one day and just opened and shut it so I would get used to it. I love the way this one sounds.
Oh, that one's fun.
That's like ASMR.
Yeah.
For therapy. Different worry stones.
This is squishy.
I like that one.
Yeah, this one's fun.
Worry stones are great. These are like rubber stones. These are great to have in the classroom, because we don't want a fidget that's too distracting.
Yeah.
And I just sometimes they just need something in their hand. Yeah. There have been studies that have come out and shown that having the fidget spinners are actually not very effective at school for kids that are trying to learn. But something like this, because they have different textures.
Where do you get something like this? I've never seen these before. Amazon. And they're called what?
These are called worry stones.
Worry stones. These are really
nice. But they
nice.
have different textures.
Just little rubber pieces with different textures on them.
And so these are great to have in your hand while you're writing and doing something. So I recommend these for school.
Yeah, these are great.
Another thing that I recommend, trying to make sure there's nothing else in here.
Oh my gosh, I had one of these when I was a kid. Okay, this is a Where's Waldo little glitter wand thing. I 100% had one of these.
They will sit there and focus and do Where's Waldo.
Oh my gosh.
I also have...
This is so cool.
I also have 6 books.
So
Yeah. One of my kids was cleaning out one of their rooms, and they were like, "Do you want this?" I said, "Yes."
This belonged to your mother. Let me tell you. I can tell you this is an artifact. This is vintage. This
our
is vintage
two
right now.
Where's Waldo books that lived at our grandmother's house, they're here.
Yeah.
And I have kids that's how they
lived
choose
at your
to
grandmother's
regulate.
house, because
Well, the books, they were
I'm not old
bought for
enough to be your
they were bought for my cousins, and then I commandeered them.
Yeah.
And so now they live here.
Yes.
And then we have acquired new Where's Waldo books, because I have a couple kids that just sit here and just do Where's Waldo. I'm like, okay, we just needed to regulate today.
So my son, who has ADHD, his favorite thing to do is escape rooms.
Yes.
That is absolutely his favorite thing.
Because
it's all fidgeting. It's all like, let me go play with this. Let me go try this. Let me go do this. And are there activities like this that are kind of escape room type things? Like, does that exist? I know there's games. There's games, right, that you can do?
Yeah, I mean, and my kids with ADHD love a good game. Most of the time it's Uno, because they're trying to beat me, and I'm like, absolutely not.
And she's not the type that's going to let them win.
I don't. I'm so sorry. I'm here to help your children work through things, and one of those is being angry about losing. So I make sure they lose. But yeah, they find these, they go through and they find the fidgets that they like. We see which ones might be good for school, which are good for home. One thing I've also been recommending a lot is Loops headphones.
Okay.
They just are little earbuds. They're noise canceling, and there's different levels of them.
Okay.
And so I encourage those for kids that have ADHD and my kids with anxiety, honestly, for the cafeteria, for assemblies, for the classroom. If their classroom, sometimes there's several kids that have ADHD in one classroom, and they all start stimming all at different times. When my husband was still a kindergarten teacher, he had a room of 22, and 10 of them every day at noon would start stimming.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I said, you're the adult in the room. Like, you're the one that's got to keep it in check. So he started wearing the Loop headphones for himself.
Oh, wow.
Because he didn't want to, discipline kids that are stimming. They aren't being like disruptive. They're all going at the same time. And so he's like, I don't want to punish them for something that helps them. And so he got the Loops for himself so he could stay regulated and be able to continue to do the things with the kids. So there's different levels. Like there's one that just filters out, which are great for restaurants, assemblies, things like that. There are some that are good for concerts, for us adults that like concerts,
so they
but
can
not the
still
noise.
hear what's going on. So they can still hear the assembly or hear the teacher.
But it's just dampened.
Oh, that's great.
And so I recommend that for almost every kid that walks in here if they have ADHD or anxiety. And my kids really, especially in the cafeteria, really appreciate those.
Okay. That's something I'll definitely have to
And so those are just easier. Our fidgets and things are here to be tools to just help us navigate the bigger world. And so those are some of the like physical tools we use. Then, anything to get their body moving. I've got kids that if they come in and go straight to the kinetic sand, in which we have every color except yellow.
Why don't you have yellow?
They don't have it.
That's weird.
It is weird. Like I have seen one brand that has yellow, but it was like way uber expensive. So I looked at them. I said, I'm so sorry, we're not getting that. But they do remind me when it's Amazon Prime Day or things are on sale, and that's when we acquire new sand. But the sand isn't on sale this week. That's weird and rude. Yeah. But I can tell if they walk in and go straight to the sand, I sit here in silence. I'm like, you have had a day. I'm just going to sit in my chair. You can let me in when you're ready. And then after about 10 or so minutes, I'm like, so how was your day today?
Right.
What happened? But the kinetic sand is a great tool for them because of the sensory feel of it.
Yeah. And you are welcome to keep it in your office and not in my house. Because when we had kinetic sand, it was everywhere.
I do tell the parents, I'm like, listen, they keep it in the bin in here. We have 3 rules in this office. We do not mix the sand, we do not mix the Play-Doh, and we don't put either in the carpet on purpose. Right. Accidents happen. Like yesterday, one of the kids went to scoop it and it flew out. He was like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "It was an accident."
Right.
And the good thing about kinetic sand, we clump it up together and we pick it up and we're good. But the sensory input of that really helps them. And here they're good at keeping it in the bin. So as long as they know it's for the bin, they're fine.
This is its home. It stays in the home.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to bring up this pillow here.
I love this pillow. I have the sticker of this on my computer too.
So this is an emotion sensation wheel, and the pillow on your couch has all these different emotions on it.
And then it also has the physical feelings.
Right. This is so cool. So when you're working with a kid, do you use this and go through, okay, so this has surprise, fear, anger, disgust, sad, happy, and then it breaks it down into, like a color wheel.
Yeah.
But with emotions and things.
So use this with 8, 9, and up because it's easier for them to read and stuff. I've got a pizza feelings wheel over here, and so the pizza slices are scared, mad, surprised, excited, happy, calm, sad, and bad. And then they'll pick a pizza slice, and then on the slice is the narrowed down feelings.
Right.
So that's a little easier for my younger kids. But this I use for 8, 9, and up.
Great.
Or if they come in and oh, my tummy's hurting, my head's hurting, then we start on the outside. And we find that on the outside.
Yeah. Foot tapping,
or I felt like my hands and
palms.
fists all day. Okay, let's find that.
Yeah.
And so then we
tiredness, body aches, crying, nausea. Yeah. Oh, that's so neat.
Because kids don't always have the emotional language to say like, I was really frustrated with this person today, or I was really anxious about this thing today. But they do know what their body feels like. And so they do know my tummy really hurt today. My head really hurt today. Okay, where were you? What, did you eat something funny? Did somebody say something not nice? Did you have a test? And then we can kind of narrow down, okay, what was actually going on.
Right. Mm-hmm. Very cool. So this reminds me, and I know you're a fan of the Inside Out movies.
Yes, I have all the characters
over there. The characters over there. And I remember one year we had our Halloween party and you dressed up as anxiety. And I think, did you win the costume contest?
I got very close to winning, but that's okay.
You didn't win? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it was a great costume. So things like that are out in the public, what are some other things that parents can have access to on their own to help their children with processing these emotions?
Absolutely.
So what is it about those Inside Out movies that helps you talk to the kids, or that they can get from that, or other things along those lines?
What I like about the Inside Out movies, both of them, they did have child psychologists working on the movies. And so, yes, we're kind of getting a cartoonish version of some of these things. But like in the first movie, when the memories go gray and then they're sucked up, like that's really how all of that works. Like we store these memories for a while and then we don't need them anymore. We haven't thought about them. So they all get scooped out. I think we all know, if you've seen the Inside Out, the Dreams short series, it was so cute.
Okay.
It's six episodes. It's so funny, but we do dream about the things that stress us out. And so I like that there was so much in there that was accurate that then related to kids. And when we went and saw Inside Out too, because I have anxiety and sometimes my husband does not realize why I freeze because he has ADHD. So he's like, no, we keep moving. And I'm like, nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do it. I have to stay right here. And so what the movie even did for us was he looked at me in the theater and goes, is this what your brain does? Like when anxiety's having the panic attack at the end.
So it's good for parents to watch that, because maybe they can understand how their child is processing.
Yeah, because he was able to be like, I don't get it yet, but I can understand it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that's a great movie. I love a good kids book. I don't even know if it's over here right now, but not Inside Out. There's a book called In My Heart, A Book of Feelings, and it goes through all the feelings. And this is when my heart feels sad. This is when my heart feels angry. And it gives different descriptions of why kids may be sad or angry. And that's a great book to read if you've noticed it's been a day.
Yeah.
All right, let's read the book. And at the end of every page, I wonder if you felt this feeling today, and let them elaborate. So there are so many great like feelings books that you can incorporate into your daily life.
Yeah.
And it allows the conversation of
what's going on.
And did you feel this today?
Yeah.
And parents have found that book in particular is really helpful.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what other like outside things, like getting them the right fidgets. I know Neatos are like a whole thing right now, and I think they're great, but like don't go spend $40 on one. They're like they feel really good, but you can find other things that feel good that are not so expensive. Even getting them into art and doing things with their hands. I don't particularly love the feeling of the air dry clay. I'm here for some model magic. Like these were all done with Model Magic. And so they come in different colors. They come in white. The cool thing about them is if you have white, you can marker them and knead it together and it changes color. Huh. And so I love Model Magic. We have it here normally, but it's not on sale. And the kids really love how that feels. And so it reminds me of Play-Doh, but I think kids get sad sometimes that we can't like leave our creation with Play-Doh. Play-Doh's meant to be reused.
Yeah.
But with Model Magic, you can create it and then 24 hours later it's dry.
Oh.
And so they have their creation.
Yeah.
And so having just different sensory things like that in the house can be really helpful. And different art supplies, different ways if they can't go move their body outside because it's 115 degrees or it's raining. And they don't like the rain. I don't know. I'm a let's go play in the rain person.
I'm too. We have a rule in my family that if we pass by sprinklers, you have to go run through them.
Absolutely.
Like that's just a thing.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny because my daughter, who just graduated from college, her freshman year of college, she sent me a video of a late night that she was leaving what I'm going to assume was a frat party of some sort. And she sent me a video and she was like, I missed home. And then I saw the sprinklers and I went and ran through the sprinklers. And she had her friend film her running through the sprinklers.
Yay.
And then she sent me the video and she was like, a little piece of home. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm
and also great sensory input.
Like, yeah. But I did learn a very, very hard lesson. Don't run through sprinklers in high heels.
No.
So there was one night that I went out and it was at the very end of the evening and I may have had a drink or two and the sprinklers were on at the restaurant that we were leaving. And I didn't take my heels off before I went to go through the sprinklers and they got stuck in the mud and I completely busted my ankle and it was giant. I could hardly drive home. It was awful.
Oh no.
Yeah. So don't do that in heels.
Yeah.
But it's always, it is like a release and it is a sensory thing, but yeah.
Chalk on the sidewalk, sensory thing, because they have that feeling. But the thing with ADHD is, yes, it is an executive functioning thing in your brain, but it's controlled by our emotions. So ADHD at the root is an emotional regulation situation. So if we can be emotionally regulated, our executive functioning works better.
Okay.
There was one, the week before school actually starts, and so all the teachers are there. My husband came home that Friday, and he literally could not form words anymore because all summer it's just us at home with our dog, and so it's very low key. We never use big lights, like all the things, and then he goes back to all the people and talking and the fluorescent lights. Yeah. I mean, he never used big lights in his classroom either, but all the other rooms they did.
Yeah.
And so he was just overwhelmed and out of it. And I looked at him, I said, I know it is August 7th. I know it is 1,000 degrees. I said, just go for a short run.
Yeah.
Don't have to, just stay in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Go for a short run. And he came back and he could form words. I said, you just needed the dopamine, because when he runs, he gets the running, which, feels good. He also gets to listen to an audiobook, and that's pretty much the only time he has Sour Patch. So he gets 3 things all in one.
Yeah.
And he just needed like 30 minutes, and then he came back and they functioned the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But, that's why we need that input, and kids really need that time of big movement. So balancing the big movement with small things that can help them just get through the day can make all the difference. But do not rely on a deep breath. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, I love this so much and you're so helpful. Thank you for sharing all of your expertise and everything with us. If you want to learn more about play therapy or ADHD or any of the neurodivergent tendencies that these kids have, come talk to Bryna.
Yeah.
She is more than happy to do a consultation with you and your kiddo, help you on that path of how do I get them diagnosed? How do I get their services, their 504s? She is so great with all of that. So,
I will even attend your 504 meetings.
That is amazing.
I'm happy to do that with you.
So, Bryna, how do they get a hold of you to book a slot with you?
Yeah, so you can head to our website. It's www.talamantez therapy.com. And so talamanteztherapy.com, you can find us on there. You can find us on social media, but that's the easiest way to get to either Michael or I. So,
and tell us really quickly about your husband's side of your business.
Yeah, so my husband, Michael, he is a certified academic language therapist candidate, and he runs our educational services for Talamantez Therapy. So he works with kiddos who have dyslexia and other just reading struggles and reading comprehension, because not every kid that has reading comprehension struggles has something else. They might just have something going on at home. Like I struggled with reading comprehension as a kid because trauma. So sometimes we just need some help. And he loves working with kids. He'll pick out books that actually interest them to keep them engaged. And so he sees kiddos up here as well.
Very cool. Well, thank you for being on our show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we will chat with you again soon. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye. If you are looking for the best place to market your business to our local community, we are a nationwide brand, so we have over 200 publications across the nation, and we really do value high editorial integrity, beautiful photography, and making sure that your story is told in a respectable and beautiful way. So if you would like to learn more about how to become an advertising partner of City Lifestyle Publications, feel free to reach out to us because we are your ticket in the door to get you face-to-face with your next client.